Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge welcome to my good friend, Mr. Cardillo.
In 1976, I was 60 years old, and I made this profound decision to deliver my life to Jesus Christ and the Blessed Virgin Mary and join a Catholic monastery of monks who were religious teaching brothers. I know. I was out to save the world. I was out to save my soul. 40 years of distance now, I realized what I was really out to do was try to suppress this feeling of why do all these guys in front of me look so friggin' great? Which I did for 14 years. I did. I really wanted to deliver my life to Jesus, but more than all of that, I had this idea at the age of 16 of secret knowledge, a mystical knowledge. The Greeks call it gnosis. It's this idea that you can capture these secret thoughts. And by capturing and understanding these secret thoughts, you could gain eternal life. So I was always in search of these secret thoughts, but never knew what they would be or where they would show up. So I joined this monastery. It went well for the beginning part. I did all of the initial training, and then came time to be a novice. And they sent me away to a novitiate, which is not too far from here in West Park, New York. And I was right on the Hudson River. For 1 full year, you are separated from the public world. You have no communication, no contact. It is all the novices, which were 17 pituitary cases altogether, so there were a lot of fights. 17 guys and our novice master. And we were locked away for a year in the middle of the woods. Nothing to do except study how we were going to live these vows of poverty, celibacy, and obedience for the rest of our lives. Didn't know how that was going to happen at all. I go in with the best intentions and I make it through the year. And at the end of that year, you have to sign a vow form in front of hundreds of people and a representative from Rome and the Vatican. You have to sign this form that says, with the help of God, I will observe these vows faithfully forever. They then rip that sheet from your hands, slap it in a frame, take it to your cell. It's not a prison cell, but it felt like a prison cell. Take it to your cell, put it right next to your crucifix. That's the first thing you're supposed to see when you wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing you're supposed to see when you go to bed at night. So you just signed up. My novice master had this great idea that he was going to scare us into everything. And he was draconian. He was horrible. He was horrible. He would scream at the top of his lungs. Anything we were doing wrong, we hear about. He was kind enough to allow each of us one TV show a week to watch on TV. So what TV show does he pick for me? He picks The Galloping Gourmet. I don't know if any of you remember it. It's that fop of a guy drinking wine, trying to make a meal. And he'd come running after me saying, "It's the Galloping Gourmet, brother. It's the Galloping Gourmet. Get down there and watch a show. You're the Galloping Gourmet. You're the Galloping Gourmet." And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I'm the masturbating monk, but you're not supposed to do it. I finally finished the mission. I get through the whole thing. They assigned me to teach at an all-boys Catholic high school in Harlem, New York. I'm the youngest person on a staff in a community of 18 different monks. Immediately, they set me out. And I remembered what my novice master told me. He said, "I don't like people who say they didn't sign up for something. When you signed on that dotted line with those vows, you signed up for everything. I don't like people that say, I didn't sign up for this. So sign up for everything," which is what I did. When I showed up to teach at that school, they assigned me 6 classes to teach every day. They assigned me to be the coach of the track team. They assigned me to do student government. And in the evenings, I went to get my degree at Columbia University. And they would force me to go in my habit. So I made this big kind of display that I'd get on my bicycle at the end of track practice with my habit, like sashaying through 125th Street, and I'd be on my bicycle. It was crazy. It was crazy. Of course, I wasn't busy enough to get rid of all these desires in my mind, and they kept throwing more jobs at me. My superior finally came to me and he said, I have one very important job that you are going to take on tomorrow. You will be the primary caregiver for Brother Augustine. Brother Augustine was the oldest member of our community. He was a 93-year-old Irishman who just was failing very rapidly, but still had too much fight in him for his own good. He was amazing, too. He wasn't your Barry Fitzgerald type at all. Don't think that. He was a cross between a sainted guy, a relatively harmless curmudgeon, and a vicious prick. This guy had it out for me. He would ride me all the time. His nickname for me was, it's the only name he ever called me. Ah, you fucking shite. Come over here, you fucking shite. And he'd say it over and over and over again. He had me vowed, more than my vows of celibacy and my vow of poverty, he had me vowed to keep secrets for him. He'd wake up earlier than anybody, but I'd have to wake up earlier than that to get his canes, to get him down. He'd put on the full flowing habit, and he had this cape that he put on. He looked like Dracula. He had this cape, and he'd come down, and before he went into the chapel, he would always walk around the dining room table, and he said, you vowed not to tell anybody what I'm doing in here. And he'd come from saying the rosary or something outside, and he'd be, have that little tip of wetness, of mucus right on his nose, and he'd go up to somebody's teacup, and he'd let that drop in. And he'd say, now, listen to me, you fucking shite. You don't tell any of them who got it today. Couldn't believe it. He just was horrible. He was horrible. He had everything out to get me, and I didn't know if he was making fun of me or if this was for real. I mean, this guy was just really that lame-brained that he thought that he could get away with this, and he did get away with it. I had a bigger task for him other than just waking him up in the morning and praying with him. I had to take care of his biggest passion in life. And what was that? His biggest passion in life? Brother Augustine, was committed to growing cactus gardens. I know, it sounds too good to be true. A prickly man, cactus gardens. It's true. He raised cactus gardens. The monks, we built a greenhouse for him on the top of the roof of the school building on 124th and Lenox. He'd send me up there every day with special announcements. And he'd say, you go up to number 12 and you move it 1 inch to the left, 4 drops of water. He'd give me these little thimbles of water. You go up to number 24 and point it towards the sun. And I'd do it. I'd then have to come down and pray with him. But he also was a notorious alcoholic. So he had to get his prayers in so that he can get his nightly scotches in, and he'd have to get that down. So what we did was I'd go to his room, and instead of saying the rosary, we do speed rosary. He'd sit there, I'd take out the rosaries, and I'd hear, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, glory be our Father, Hail Mary, Holy Mary, Hail Mary. And it was over before it started, and then he was swinging them down. He just was going at it. He was amazing. And he didn't stop this relentless, you fucking shite. And he'd call me that every day. He'd say, do you know when you say that prayer before you receive communion? Oh Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldst come to me. I said, yes, Brother Gus, I do hear that. He said, that prayer was written for you, you fucking shite. In addition to his drinking, Brother Gus was a lifelong smoker. And he, at the age of 93, came down with a diagnosis of lung cancer. And he was given about 2 months to live. He was really far gone. So I became his primary caregiver for health more than anything. I would have to bathe him. I would have to take care of him in his room. I would have to read to him. I would have to do the sacred scriptures with him. And then I'd have to do the speed rosary because he kept that drinking going and he needed it over as fast as he could. I would do all of that for him. He reveled in saying to me, I've got to let you know something. The secret of the cactus is going to die with me. And this is what scared me. He was great at what he did. He was written up in botany articles. He had scientists coming to visit him. He was interviewed for TV. His cacti were the best. But he said, the secret will die with me. No one will find out how you grow these cactus. I am the sole owner of this, and your mouth is shut, you fucking shite. I said, "What's fine with me? I don't want to grow crack cactus. I want to be with guys. I don't want to." He, unfortunately, dies very quickly. I prepare his body for burial. The body gets taken back up to West Park, New York, to the Cemetery of the Brothers. We inter his body. But 1 week before that happened, there was a little bit of hope for me because he called me in. And it was the first time he didn't call me my nickname. He said, "Come over to me, Brother Mark." My name's Richard Cardillo. But for 14 years, I changed my name in the monastery. You had to take a new name for your new identity. So I was Brother Mark. It's only recently I found out why they do that. I thought it was, to take on this new identity in your life. It's not. It's so that decades later, when you're in therapy, you pay thousands of dollars trying to find out identity issues in your life. That's crazy. Come here, Brother Mark. And I thought he was going to die that day. He said, "I've noted the secret knowledge of the cacti, and I've given the envelope to your superior. When I die, you can read it." So I knew that was coming. After the burial, I get back to the school on 124th and Lenox. The superior, Brother Joe, sees me, and he gives me the envelope. I have the secret knowledge. I go up to my cell, I close the door, and I open it. And then in the most beautiful script, calligraphy that I couldn't believe, it said, "In the year of our Lord, 1976, I commend to you, Brother Mark." We were on a roll because that was another Brother Mark and not a fucking shite. "I commend to you, Brother Mark, the secret knowledge of the cacti. Number 1, before morning prayer, go out to the corner and go to the newsstand. Number 2, buy the New York Times National Edition. Number 3, after morning prayer, go up to your cell and open to the weather report. Number 4, when it rains in Phoenix, Arizona, water the cactus." Decades have passed since that time. And I have no use in my life anymore for secret knowledge. I left that life behind. I was with a wonderful guy for 18 years of my life and just fell in love again, getting ready to be married for the first time in my life at the age of 61. That's the only knowledge I needed. And right now, the way that I feel is secret knowledge is just about as important to me as when it rains in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you.